Welcome to another Do Not Disturb dog walk. Where are we? I'm thinking about making this a monthly mystery episode. I'm pretty sure though, I feel like we've been here before. I looked at it on the map, I wasn't sure. Now that we're here, I'm kind of thinking, maybe we've been here before. Do any of you all recognise it? Quigley. No, that's not how that works, buddy. Yeah. Quigley, here. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember being here before. Yeah, that's right, we walked around there. Yeah. Anyway, there's another trail over here. Come on. So all the regular viewers will know this, but if this is your first time watching, this is pretty much what these recordings are, as mundane as they are. We are just recording our dog walk today, and that's pretty much all we do. We walk and I talk. Sometimes I talk too much, and we made some rules regarding the conversation, as it were. The first rule is represented by the slogan, never mind the 6 o'clock news, which it is what it sounds like. I do talk a lot. I tend to narrate our lives as we do these walks. But I've made it a rule since the very first episode, since the very beginning, that I'm not allowed to talk about anything that's on the 6 o'clock news, which intentionally is about keeping these dog walks, these vicarious experiences for you viewers, free of that kind of stuff, talking about dumb stuff that's on the news. It also helps to keep these recordings kind of timeless. We're not a current affairs show. It doesn't matter what day it is. It almost doesn't matter where we are, except that we're proud of our beautiful country, and that's why I've titled every episode with the name of the places, except for the monthly mystery episodes, because, I mean, that just came about really as a kind of like a challenge for the geo-guessers on the planet, who like to try and figure out where we are rather than being told. I mean, every episode is titled with the name of the place, except for the mystery eps. Whoopsie, we got snagged. He quit. So that's the number one rule, never mind the 6 o'clock news. And the second rule, the number two rule, pun intended, is about how Quigley is the magical never pooping dog on this YouTube channel. And that's by design. We don't really need to see the poo falling out. And I'm not going to zoom in on that and other gross things that we might find. It's all a part of the Do Not Disturb ethos. Yes, and so this rule is represented by the slogan, show us the poop, show us the poop, which is like a reverse psychological slogan for you all to type into the comments. It's kind of, I'm trying to make it a meme. So pretty much every episode I reiterate these ground rules, and the simple fact of the matter is You definitely don't get to see poop, the poop happening, the poopening. That's the one thing I edit out. I'll censor from our content. But you don't get to go a single episode without thinking about it, especially if you listen to me, who happens to bring it up every single episode. The number 2 rule, show us the poop. You don't get to see the poop. I think that's fair. I think Quigley deserves his private time off camera for such shenanigans. Every now and again I have accidentally caught that on camera, and that's when I make an effort to edit it out. So you might see that from time to time, me having a little chuckle. Oops, Quigley did a poop on camera, oopsie. Hey Quigs. It's happened a few times. But by and large, we just make an effort to mitigate the possibility by making sure he poops before we start recording. It's just a thing though that occasionally he has surprise poops. You think we got all the poop out? We didn't. It's obviously very wet today. On the drive here it was such horrendous, and I run a dash cam, right, so I've been contemplating maybe downloading that footage from the camera and showing you a bit of that. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. I'm pretty lackluster in post-production on these recordings. I think that's part of its charm. We're just living our real life and recording it. And so the MO is to make the recording and upload it straight away without having to mess around with it. Only occasionally do I find the time and energy to do something a little bit more fancy with editing. It's necessary when I have to censor some pooping. It's necessary if I have to reassemble videos into one product after either intentionally or unintentionally stopping the recording, filming it in multiple parts. But most of the time I just try to get one video file recorded into the camera and put up online. For the most part, you'll find that our dog walks are bushwalks and beaches, and the odd strenuous mountain climb. In New Zealand, we like to nickname those sorts of walking missions goat tracks. I wasn't sure if we were going to come out walking today because of the horrendous state of the weather. I almost said, oh look, there's the mighty name of the river. But I thought if I use this for the monthly mystery episode, then that's too big of a clue. Hey. It's a clue even when I don't tell you the name of this river. So let me tell you about my dream, folks. I'm dreaming that one day our YouTube channel will strike up a huge following and that some of you will send us $1. We don't ask for much, just $1. Because if we get $1 from thousands of people, that's thousands of dollars. That's the logic behind it. That's pretty much how we roll. I'm not that keen on doing corporate sponsorship or paid brand advertisements and things like that. So I really genuinely want the funding for this channel to come from beautiful people who support the content, who appreciate that it exists. Not just for you, but for everyone. But especially, I like the idea that we're making this content for all the people on planet Earth who don't get to come and do these beautiful walks for whatever reason. Maybe you're too far away. Maybe you'll never come to this beautiful country. Maybe you'd love to, but you can't. And the other kind of people who can't do these kinds of walks is people with disabilities. And since, in the background of our life we do make quite an effort to support people with disabilities, in the performing arts especially, to make things more accessible for them. This is definitely in league with our location there. I think I remember now, we have been here before. And this little loop walk isn't actually that substantial. It's not going to keep us busy for the whole hour that I like to walk and record for. And that'll be why last time we were here, which my memory's pretty vague about, I'm pretty sure we would have recorded it, so the recording will remember better than I do. But I'm pretty sure that's why we went around this loop and then went to the riverside walkway, which we saw at the beginning of this recording. Yeah, let's go check that out again. I'm pretty sure that last time we were here, the river wasn't absolutely raging. Like it is today. So that'll be a nice contrast. If you wanted to look up the other recording we made here and compare the day-to-day difference. Quigley! Hide and bye, Cootie. That's another notable thing. It's not something I mention every episode, but every now and again I explain it. We've got an indigenous language in this country called Te Reo Māori, the language of the Māori people. The Māori people who were more or less pretty much like cavemen. I think they knew how to farm, maybe. A little bit about farming. And building, they had huts and things like that. Oh look, we've got a raindrop on the camera. Okay. Sorry folks, I don't know how long that's been there, but I'm just gonna push pause and deal with it. Oh yeah, cool. Can I tell you how I dealt with that raindrop? I literally just looked at it and then blew on it like this, and it disappeared. A very tiny raindrop on the screen. I mean, on the camera itself, huge on the screen. You guys are lucky I looked down at the camera and cleared that, because I could have just carried on walking and making this terrible recording, dirtied up by a errant drop of water. I forgot what I was talking about. I know it'll still be on your mind because not as much time has passed for you as for me. A little bit of time travelling there, never hurt anybody. That's what I call it when I push pause on a recording. We're just going to do a little bit of time travelling. So for years and years before we started making these recordings, I often dreamed of doing a vlogging type YouTube channel, and I could never really get brave enough to go ahead and do it. And all of that time I always thought that I would point the camera at myself and try and make some, make sure I look pretty and sound good and have interesting things to talk about. But I never really got brave enough to do that. And then when I realised about how regularly I walk my dog daily, that it would be cool to record the dog walks. I thought I was going to try and record a dog walk every day, because we definitely pretty much go walking every day. And I gave it a go. I gave it a good go in the beginning, and then sort of realised, especially when sickness pops up or when the weather is absolutely horrendous. Like the windy days are my biggest excuse for not making recordings, because I don't want to make recordings for you all of the sound of a windy day, because it sounds bad. Sometimes I do, and I apologise for it, and I will say, just watch this one on mute or something like that. Like, turn the sound off. You don't have to listen to us, but you can still enjoy the dog walk visually. Play some music or something, And then when it's raining, like horrendous rain, the recording device is pretty well waterproof. I don't think I could drop it in a toilet, but I think it can handle the rain to a certain extent. But then, as you saw earlier, you run the risk of getting a raindrop on the lens. Hey. Hikoi, kuri, hikoi. Oh, that's right. I was talking about the Māori language before, that's right. The Māori language, I know that Google AI generated subtitles, if you're watching English subtitles, you will not get the translation for the Māori words. Interestingly though, that you could load up, I've noticed this recently, you can load up Māori subtitles and then that will translate all of the English, and I like to think then that it would recognise the Māori words and subtitle them also. But that doesn't really help you to understand what the Māori words mean. Maybe it would. Maybe it would help you learn the Māori language by watching the English sound with the Māori subtitles. But I only literally just realised recently that that's even an option. What I do appreciate is a great option for the world at large is that Well, I'm mostly recording in English. We're getting translated into multiple languages. I don't know how many, but plenty of languages. And so shout out to you if you're listening, if you're watching from a faraway land that speaks a different language. Please jump in the comments and let us know. Oh look, we're getting some quite heavy rain. Look, Quigley's bad buzzing about it. He's like, I'm getting, oh no. It's funny too, because sometimes when we've been out in the rain, we start running and Quigley starts running because he's like, yes mate, yes please, let's run so we can get out of this rain quicker. Yeah, so we've been at this for a couple of years now, this YouTube channel, the recorded dog walks. I'm only just really recording something that we do every day, and that's what made it easy. You know, we're out here dog walking anyway. I thought about making a bus life channel. If you don't know, me and Quigley live in a bus. We've been living in a bus since he was born, since before he was born. I've been living in the bus since the beginning of 2021. I brought it up obviously because there's a bus parked right here, so it sort of illustrates what I'm talking about. I thought it looked like my friend's bus, and it does. It looks a lot like his bus, but it's definitely not his bus because his one is bigger. This way. Here. Quigley. Here. I've just got the camera pointed at the gravel footpath right now so that you don't see the information sign we just walked past. Try and keep this location mysterious in case we want to use it for the October monthly mystery episode. Yeah. Confusing my dog, pointing the other way. He thought, oh no, we're going back that way, are we? I'm just checking in with Quigley whether he's enjoying himself or not. He looks like he's a bit stressed. Quigley, you alright, my bud? Here. Quigley. Come on, we can persevere. Good boy, Quigley. I could have put a jacket on him. I do have a jacket that I've got like a Quigley travel bag, so I've definitely got a jacket for him, and so I feel bad for not putting his jacket on him. I also feel bad for not packing a towel. Oftentimes I will when I contemplate the weather forecast, and I know I'm possibly going to need it. But I didn't bring a towel. That's unfortunate. A nice towel to dry the dog would be good. Now, I do believe that beyond this gate here is private land or private property, but I remember the last time we were here, there was people around here and they didn't say, hey, this is private property, go away. They didn't. They did not, because you know what? We're good people. We're not here to be up to no good. And, you know, we're just enjoying the place. That's good. Quigs, this way. And I get the feeling from this place that it's one of those private properties where they don't mind that the public will stroll through here, especially close to the fence line. Public land, private land. There could be a walking trail on that side of the fence, but there isn't, and there happens to be one on this side of the fence. It's like they're sharing their private land with the public. That's the vibe that I get from it. If any of the locals watch this and care to correct me, that'll be, you know, I'm happy to stand corrected. I've had this great idea for getting super funding from people, and that would be for people to sponsor a future episode for the same amount of dollars as the number on the episode. So I think this episode that we're recording now is 261. So if you were to sponsor this episode, it would cost you $261. Right? But episodes that are recorded, I don't know if I can sell them unless I edit the description and add someone's name. Still thinking about that part. But selling future episodes. If you'd like to sponsor the channel and sponsor an episode, it would only cost the amount that the episode number is. So if somebody wanted to sponsor episode 1000, that would be awesome. Send me $1,000. That's the way I look at it. I'd have to look into the laws about all of that, how to legally sort that. Mainly because if somebody decided to send $1 million to sponsor the 1,000th episode, which is probably impossible, I'd have to have some kind of, I don't know, get off the hook kind of thing, like Sure, thanks for the $1 million. I can't guarantee that I'm going to record 1 million episodes, but I will try. No one's going to send $1 million anyway. And even if somebody sent $10,000 to sponsor the 10,000th recording, well, I guess I could try. I'll give it a good go to get to 10,000 recordings. Maybe I just limit the available... No. I was thinking maybe I just limit the amount of episodes available for sponsorship. For instance, Anyway, I was thinking about what could I give in return for people sponsoring one episode. And I thought about how I don't want to do commercial stuff. I don't want to help you sell your weight gain pills or weight loss pills or dog treats, jars of honey. What else? What other ideas have you got? I don't want to help you sell stuff. I'd like to do something beautiful and artful and organic. So my idea, as boring as it sounds, is for you viewers to send me a poem that I will read during the dog walk. Alright, I think that's pretty easy. I reckon that's a nice gift to give back. Mr. Free reads the poetry. I can't remember if we walked across this bridge last time. If I remember correctly, on that episode, we made it to the bridge, and the bridge was full of people, and it made me not want to go across the bridge. But today, we have the bridge all to ourselves, so that's good. Good. We got another raindrop on the camera, huh? Now it's all foggy on it. It demisted pretty quickly. Hoo-yah! Yeah, I seriously considered not making a recording today because of this weather. And because we're cross-country travellers and we've been travelling across country today, we've been in the weather, technically, watching it all unfold before us, only getting worse and worse the more distance we covered. So that was getting me down. I was thinking, oh, do I or don't I? All these yellow flowers are called kowhai, which is the Māori name for the colour yellow. And it is the name of the tree that they come off of the kowhai tree. Alright, this is another loop walk. I don't know how long it takes to complete the loop, but this is a really cool walk. I like it. My socks are wet in my shoes. Yeah, so we've got an Amazon wish list. Depending on how far away in the future you are, there'll be things on it that we wish we could get. Or maybe we'll turn it off one day when we have all the things, who knows. But as of the time of this recording, the number one thing that I really want to get, and I'm going to get it for us no matter what, once I come up with the funds to throw at it, I'm going to purchase us the Insta360 camera. I think that's going to really change the game when it comes to our content. Also, I don't know if it's on the wish list, and my ideas of what constitutes a good aerial photography unit, it's always changing because there's all sorts of different options out there. But I do want to get us some aerial photography equipments. I saw some footage yesterday actually of a cyclist who was cycling on a mountain trail somewhere with lots of clear airspace, for his video drone to follow him along the trail. And I really like that idea. I like the idea of just throwing a camera up in the air and just telling it to follow me, to make some additional photography for our dog walks. I think that'd be really good. I'll get one of those one day, I reckon. Wouldn't be able to fly it in this place. Well, you know, I just imagine it having an accident, flying into a tree or something, but there are some aerial cameras out there that claim to have object avoidance abilities. I'm deep down inside, I'm sort of obsessed with automation and drone arrays and things like that. Wishing that I could experiment with those technologies. One day I might. I'm really keen to make aerial time-lapse, moving aerial photography and time-lapse. So the secret to that would be that the camera will appear like it was up in the air for a long period of time, but actually what it does is it flies up, takes a picture, and then goes back to its landing position, where when it needs to, it will recharge its battery. And so automating that, in my mind, means having some kind of computer program to tell the drone all the different points along a flying route to take a picture. And then it just flies the same mission every day. And every whatever set time interval, maybe every 10 minutes or something, it flies out again, takes another picture. And the only difference is that every time it takes a picture, it flies a little bit further along its trail. And then I sort of think, advancing on that, to create an even longer trail, the base station could be strategically moved every set amount of time. So it always flies along that set path that's been set for it to collect the photography on. But, you know, if it's getting further and further away from the base station, then if you would like to keep going further, you'd need to move the recharging base station. And the other way to do it is to have multiple drones. What else was I thinking? I was thinking the same sort of thing, except having several drones, like the more the better, like all on the roof of a vehicle, you know, and they're all sitting there waiting for their turn. So you want to, the drones are trained to follow the vehicle and film the vehicle where it's going. And this is not time-lapse, by the way, although it could be hyperlapse, the footage in the end, but you know, most of these flying aerial cameras only have a certain amount of flight time before they run out of power. So I was thinking it would be neat to fly a drone until its battery exhausts, and before it flies back to the vehicle to land on the roof of the moving vehicle, another drone will deploy and take its place. So then you just have to edit all those recordings together. Hopefully there'd be a way to make it seem seamless, like you recorded it all from one camera, but it is actually multiple cameras. That's another experiment I'd love to run. So instead of only getting 20 minutes of flight time, every drone that gets 20 minutes of flight time, if you've got 10 of them, suddenly you've got 200 minutes of flight time. Okay, quarter hour to go on the recording. We like to limit our recordings to an hour. That's why when you look at all our dog walk recordings, most episodes are less than an hour long. That's the self-imposed 1 hour time limit on our dog walks. There has been the odd occasion where we've gone out and recorded for about 2 hours, and oftentimes it's the same location, but I split that into 2 episodes. Well, apart from the house bus at the beginning of the trail, which by the sounds of it was occupied by humanity, it might not have been, but the generator was running. Aside from that, signs of life, we haven't seen another human during this walk, which is really good. Since pretty much most times that we make recordings, we usually do. And you'll find that in our YouTube channel, if you don't already know, there is a playlist called Encounters, which is just sort of clipped down short episodes of our encounters and friendly conversations with people in public, which has been really good. In fact, it's one of those episodes, which was less than 2 minutes long, to be fair, that is our most watched so far, because for some reason it blew up and attracted itself 50,000 views or thereabouts, which sort of blew my mind. I thought that was quite amazing. All right, the official trail's there, but Quigley wants to go this way, and I feel like it's the right direction, so let's do it. Oh no! Oh no! The raindrops switch the camera to selfie mode, so I'll switch it back. So I will edit out all of the footage that the camera was switched to selfie mode by a raindrop. So it's not going to bother you, but it bothers me, that especially since I've been walking and talking, and you'll have to miss out on all of that I've been talking about. Oh well, that's life. And you'll miss some of the the ground that we've covered. Anyway, we're pretty much at the time limit. We're almost there. Get to record this bit of the trail for you, hopefully. Before we run out of time. Yeah, so ends another dog walk at another beautiful location. We've had enough of the dog walking for today. But if you haven't, you're in luck, because you can keep watching for hours and hours and hours if you want. Jump into our channel, find the Do Not Disturb Dog Walk playlist, put it on shuffle so it's a lucky dip what you get, and let us show you around this beautiful country of ours. And oftentimes the weather is a lot better than this. Hey, but we're rain, hail or snow people most of the time. Wind is our worst enemy, so hopefully there's not too many windy episodes. I think the sound's terrible when it's windy. So generally we refrain from making recordings on a windy day, but how do you like that raging river? So there's not really much more to say and not much more time left to say it, so I can stick within the 1 hour self-imposed time limit. Yeah, as usual, I've just got to say thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.